Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, wondering why you're always the one to reach out? You send the first good morning, the first how are you, the first meme, and you start to wonder, do they even like me? Why do I always have to be the one to text first? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. It's a common frustration in modern relationships, both platonic and romantic. But what's really going on in the mind of someone who never initiates a conversation? Is it a sign of disinterest, or is there something deeper at play? Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who never text first. And trust me, the reasons might surprise you. It's not always about you. So, let's get into it. The first, and perhaps most common reason, is anxiety. For many people, initiating a conversation, even through a simple text, can be incredibly daunting. They worry about bothering you. Their minds might race with questions like, what if they're busy? What if I'm interrupting something important? Or, what if what I have to say isn't interesting enough? This isn't a reflection of how they feel about you. It's a reflection of their own internal struggles with self-esteem and the fear of rejection. They might genuinely value your friendship or affection, but are paralyzed by the what-ifs. They'd rather wait for you to reach out because it provides them with the reassurance that you actually want to talk to them. Your text is a green light, a signal that they are welcome, which quiets their anxious thoughts. Another significant factor is attachment style. If you're not familiar with attachment theory, it basically describes how we bond with others based on our earliest relationships with caregivers. Someone with an avoidant attachment style, for instance, often values their independence to an extreme degree. They might have learned early on that relying on others can lead to disappointment. As a result, they keep people at a certain distance, and initiating contact can feel like a threat to their self-sufficiency. They might care about you deeply, but their subconscious fear of becoming too dependent or enmeshed makes them pull back. They wait for you to make the first move because it maintains a comfortable emotional distance for them. They're happy to respond, but taking the lead feels too vulnerable. Then there's the simple matter of communication habits and perceived social roles. Some people are just not texters. They prefer face-to-face conversations or phone calls and see texting as a purely functional tool for making plans, not for casual chit-chat. They might not realize that for you, a spontaneous text is a sign of affection and connection. Their brain just isn't wired to think, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so today, I should send them a message. It's not malicious, it's just a different communication style. Furthermore, some people might fall into a passive role in a relationship dynamic. Early on, you might have been the initiator and a pattern was established. They got comfortable in the role of the responder, and it just became the norm. They might not have even noticed the imbalance because, from their perspective, the communication is flowing just fine. You text, they respond, and in their mind, the connection is maintained. Let's also consider the fear of being perceived as needy or clingy. This is a huge one, especially in the early stages of dating, but it applies to friendships too. Social conditioning has taught many of us that being too eager is a turnoff. People worry that texting first, especially multiple times in a row, makes them look desperate. They are playing it cool, not as a game, but as a defense mechanism. They are trying to protect their own feelings and manage how they are perceived. They might be sitting there, wanting to talk to you just as much as you want to talk to them. But they're held back by the fear of coming on too strong. They believe that by waiting for you, they're maintaining a sense of balance and not putting too much pressure on the connection. On the other side of the spectrum, some people who don't text first might simply be overwhelmed or have a different sense of time. Think about your friend who's a busy parent, or the one juggling a demanding job and night school. Their mental bandwidth is completely maxed out. They might think of you, smile, and make a mental note to text you later, but later gets swallowed by a dozen other urgent tasks. Their silence isn't a sign of indifference, it's a symptom of burnout. For them, responding to a text is manageable because it's a direct prompt. But initiating requires a level of mental energy and foresight they just don't have to spare at the moment. Their world is moving at a different pace, and their communication capacity is limited. So, now that we understand some of the underlying reasons, what can we do about it? The most important step is communication. If the one-sided initiation is bothering you, it's okay to talk about it. But the key is to approach it with curiosity, not accusation. Instead of saying, "You never text me first, don't you care?" Try something gentler. You could say, "Hey, I've noticed I'm usually the one to reach out, and sometimes it makes me feel a little insecure about our connection. I just wanted to check in and see how you're feeling about things. This opens the door for an honest conversation rather than putting them on the defensive. They might reveal their anxiety, their busy schedule, or simply admit they never even noticed the pattern. This conversation can lead to a new understanding and a more balanced dynamic. It's also helpful to observe their behavior in other areas. Do they flake on plans? Do they seem disengaged when you are together? Or are they enthusiastic, present, and caring when you do connect? If they are a fantastic, supportive friend in every other way but just happen to be a passive texter, you might decide it's a quirk you can live with. A person's value in your life isn't solely defined by their texting habits. We all have different strengths and weaknesses in how we show up for people. Maybe their strength is showing up in person, not on a screen. Accepting this can save you a lot of unnecessary heartache. You can choose to focus on the quality of the interactions you do have, rather than the quantity of initiated texts. Another practical tip is to create communication routines that work for both of you. If you know your friend is a bad texter but great on the phone, suggest a weekly call instead. You could say, "I know texting isn't really your thing, but I miss hearing your voice. How about we try to catch up on a call once a week?" This honors their communication style while still meeting your need for connection. By finding a middle ground, you're building a stronger, more resilient relationship that isn't dependent on a single mode of communication. It shows you care enough to adapt, and it gives them a way to connect that feels more natural and less pressure-filled for them. Finally, it's crucial to manage your own expectations and protect your energy. If you've communicated your feelings and nothing has changed, and you consistently feel drained or unimportant in the relationship, you have a right to reevaluate. You can't force someone to change their deep-seated psychological patterns. At a certain point, you have to decide if the relationship, as it is fulfilling for you. It's okay to pull back a little and invest your energy in people who reciprocate it in a way that makes you feel seen and valued. This isn't about punishing the other person. It's about honoring your own needs. Reciprocity is a cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and while it doesn't have to be a perfect 50-50 split every single day, it should feel balanced over time. In the end, the person who never texts first is rarely a villain trying to hurt your feelings. More often than not, they are navigating their own internal world of anxiety, past experiences, and personal habits. By approaching the situation with empathy and open communication, you can often uncover the real reason and find a way forward. And if not, you gain the clarity you need to invest your precious energy in connections that truly nourish you. It all starts with looking beyond the screen and understanding the complex human on the other side. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive. I hope this gave you some valuable perspective. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content about psychology and relationships. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you ever been the one who doesn't text first? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.